This is our annual Hexagenia Mayfly hatch. Wake up, little Mayflies. It's time. It's showtime. The Mayfly is an important indicator species. When the river is polluted, the hatch is greatly reduced, and when the river is healthy, the hatch is abundant. These are adult mayflies in their last stage of their life cycle. They have no mouth, and their digestive system has been turned into a bladder of air that helps them to the surface when they leave the muddy bottom. Of course, that explains why mayflies pop when you step on them. But nothing to be alarmed about. They can't bite and they don't sting. Their feet can tickle if they land on your skin. Their dried up bodies and exoskeletons will be dust within the next week. Mayflies live most of their lives as nymphs, building and living in a U-shaped tube on the bottom of the river or lake. These nymphs are otherwise called naiads, have legs for burrowing and gills to breathe with. When they pump up their gills, it forces water through their U-shaped burrow and pulls small organic matter to their mouth to feed. They typically stay in this cycle for 2 years. While they are nymphs or naiads, they will molt several times as they grow. Then one night arrives and they somehow all agree that this is to be the night. They leave their muddy bottom and swim to the surface. There they must molt again in order to break through the surface and stand on their own floating exoskeletons to dry their wings, then take off in flight. After testing their wings, they need to find a surface to rest on. They may stay there through the next morning. Any emergent vegetation works, but they also like lightly colored surfaces like bridges or boats. They usually rest through the first night, but then by mid-morning the next day they begin to molt into sexually mature adults with one thing on their mind. The molting process is fascinating to watch. First, the mayfly starts gyrating and twitching. Then its wings flatten out, and the mayfly pushes forward out of its old skin. They need to get all the way out of the skin. Sometimes the exoskeleton sticks to the end of their tail, and they struggle to free themselves. They may even take to flight to try to rid themselves of their former skin. If the molting goes smoothly, they generally stay resting in the same area if not disturbed until that evening. As dusk turns to darkness, the males will lift off and begin a swarm, enticing the females to join them. The swarm huddles near the vegetation, and the intensity of this swarm increases as the light of day fades. The swarm continues deep into the night as the lady mayflies lift off and join the swarm. They must find a partner and mate. Mating occurs in flight and can last up to a minute. The female flies up underneath the male, and they attach and continue flying while mating. The male has outlived his usefulness at this point, but the female has her most important mission yet. She must deliver the eggs back to the river bottom. Some females just land on the water and let their eggs spill. But some females dot the water briefly several times in a row in a graceful water dance. This allows them to broadcast their eggs over a much wider area, ensuring the survival of the species. Sometimes the dance ends abruptly in the mouth of a hungry fish. Fish and birds alike gorge on the mayflies. The next morning, these bluegill were so stuffed they were just poking at their food. The mayfly swarms are so huge that they've been known to become a hazard on bridges. In La Crosse, the huge numbers of oily mayfly bodies caused accidents on the bridge to Minnesota. The bridge was actually renovated with a grate in place of concrete, so the mayfly bodies would drop through to the river rather than build up on the cement platform. Before the renovation, snowplows actually had to be called out in July to remove the piles of mayfly bodies. The swarms are so immense that they are easily detected by radar, and the local weather report will show some fascinating radar mayfly images.